Mr. President, as you said, you have in front of you an executive order that deals with a number of issues relating to election integrity. As you've consistently identified, two of the biggest problems we have with election integrity in this country are, one, inaccurate voter rolls that allow ineligible people to vote in various federal and state elections all over the country. And then secondarily, you've consistently identified that vote by mail in this country has become rife with fraud. People returning ballots who aren't eligible to return ballots being sent to people who aren't confirmed to be eligible voters. So what this executive order is going to do is, one, we're going to take federal data. We're going to ensure that each state's election officials are provided with a comprehensive view of who the eligible voters in their jurisdiction actually are, allowing them to properly verify that everybody voting in their elections is legally able to vote. And then it orders the Postmaster General, the U.S. Postal Service, to take bold new measures to verify that ballots both being sent to people are being sent to people who are eligible to vote, and then that ballots being returned are being properly returned by eligible voters only. And we believe that combined, the measures in this executive order will help secure elections in the future and ensure that the many abuses of our election system in the past aren't repeated in future elections.
Right.
President Trump taking sweeping action on U.S. elections, signing an executive order that targets mail-in voting nationwide. That's our top story today. Thanks for being here with us this morning. I'm Vanessa Broussard. The executive order calls for citizenship verification in federal elections. It directs the creation of verified voter eligibility lists and adds new security requirements for mail-in ballots. That includes secure envelopes and barcode tracking. President Trump has talked about that before, saying that these ballots need barcodes on them. It also warns that states that do not comply could risk losing certain federal funding. Here's the president signing that order.
So with all of that, I'm very happy to be signing the voter integrity, and I think it's going to be really great. So if you don't mind, I will take some time and I'll make this signature absolutely perfect. So it looks very good. So far, so good. Okay, so that's a big deal. Very proud of it. And I don't know how it can be challenged. You'll probably challenge it. You may find a rogue judge. You get a lot of rogue judges, very bad people, very bad judges. But that's the only way that can be changed. And hopefully we'll win an appeal if it is. But I don't see how anybody can challenge it. I don't see how they can challenge it. And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country, because if you don't have honest voting, you can't have really a nation, if you want to know the truth.
And critics are already out in full force. You know they would be. California Governor Gavin Newsom, he was first. He's already threatening to sue. And Chuck Schumer, he's already mouthing off, saying he will see the president in court over this. Legal challenges already being threatened. But pay attention. You know, if you're a governor of a state and the president of the United States says, I'm going to secure the elections, most governors with common sense would say, yes, please do that. So the ones who are calling for a lawsuit are the ones who are probably cheating. Now, this is just the beginning as the president vows to secure our elections and asks for the Save America Act. No movement there because Congress, they went home. But the president, he's still working, and he's doing so today. He has a full list ahead of him today. This morning, he's heading to the Supreme Court of the United States. At the top of the hour, SCOTUS will hear oral arguments over birthright citizenship. You're looking at live pictures right now, courtesy of Fox 29 out of Philadelphia, providing these photos. The president will be there any minute. He will be the first sitting president to appear for oral arguments at the nation's highest court.
The Supreme Court tomorrow is going to hear arguments about your executive order trying to get rid of birthright citizenship.
And I'm going.
You're going to go to the Supreme Court
I think
tomorrow?
so. I do believe.
And just sit there and listen.
Because I have listened to this argument for so long, and this is not about Chinese billionaires or billionaires from other countries who all of a sudden have 75 children or 59 children in one case or 10 children becoming American citizens. This was about slaves. And if you take a look, slaves, we're talking about slaves from the Civil War. And if you take a look at when it was filed, all of this legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, it was at the end of the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves. And hopefully it's going to say, because our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people, they're selling the rights to them. People are making a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen of the United States of America. That's not what it was for. It wasn't for billionaires bringing people in or family in. It was for the children of slaves. And what you really have to do, and I don't think the lawyers talk about it as much, look at when the Civil War ended and look at the date of when this was enacted.
Back to these live pictures you're seeing here, people and crowds are starting to show up on the steps of the Supreme Court. Those oral arguments begin at 10 o'clock this morning Eastern, so less than an hour from now, the president will be arriving. We will have coverage for you on LINDELLTV.com. Now to the dangers of drones in our skies, hovering over bases and housing top government officials. Drone expert John Ferguson joining us today. John, so good to see you. Mystery drones have been spotted in the skies over New Jersey. We've talked about that in the past. Also now over bases housing top officials. John, who's watching over us? It's pretty scary to think of the worst case scenario, but you have to wonder if these drones are hovering over military bases and bases housing people like Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, it can't be good.
No, it certainly isn't. Who's watching us? Pretty much just everybody. Our adversarial nations are watching us. I mean, everybody is, right? So, this administration, and actually it started in the Biden administration, where they were kicking Chinese drones out of this country because they were collecting all of that sensitive data and sending it back to China or to our adversaries. And so the crazy thing is that these drones, just a little $2,000-$3,000 drone that you go and get off of Amazon or Best Buy, is now able to collect in minutes what people, men and women have died for over the past several decades in the battlefield, just getting, battle assessments that people literally died for this data. And now these drones will get it for less than $2,000 or $3,000 in just less than a few minutes. It's very scary.
It is scary. And they're looking for sensitive information like you just mentioned, but it makes you wonder, with the greatest military in the world, my first thought a couple of weeks ago when I heard that they were caught hovering over these bases, how did they get so close?
Well, I've done several interviews where I really kind of dig my heels into the sand. I really do not believe that this administration is going to allow an adversarial nation, to fly nefarious unmanned systems over our most critical infrastructure. And these drones are supposedly very large, like the size of this one behind me. It's a 4-meter wingspan aircraft, and they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And these things are coming in waves over these military bases. So either we have the most catastrophic failure in any administration in the history of the United States, or maybe they're just allowing this to happen, or maybe they're doing their own testing and not telling us. But these drones flying over our bases not with people's knowledge, this is exposing a lot of weakness that we have here in America, and that's concerning.
Right. And, over a year ago, we were talking about the drones over New Jersey. People there were seeing them in the skies, and it was pretty mum from the administration, really not telling us what was going on. And people were wondering. So when it starts going over residential areas as well, people start getting concerned.
That's very true. And I don't know if you had seen the video that I had done, but I had made an assessment based on the information that I had and the gentleman that I've been working with, that they were looking for a nuclear warhead that has been missing since the 80s and 90s. And that actually was very, very real and is still very real to this day. So my hope was that we all, as Americans, we could all get together and just say, look, we put y'all in office. It's time you start answering some questions. And every time Mayorkas or Biden came out on TV and said, some ridiculous thing about what these drones were, I actually was given the opportunity to come out and rebut what they said and just tell the American people the truth.
And what was that truth, John? What could you tell the American people to ease their concerns?
Well, they weren't aliens, and they weren't coming out of an Iranian mothership. They weren't coming out of the water. They weren't Chinese, that they were ours, and that they were looking for something very specific that's very important. And that's why you would fly those at night, because you fly under the cloak of darkness, and you're looking for something very, very specific. And again, $150,000, $200,000 drones like you see behind me, there's no hobbyist that's going to fly that kind of an aircraft at that magnitude in our airspace over our most critical infrastructure without our government knowing about it. And that's what they just weren't telling the American people the truth. And we put these people in office, right? So we deserve some answers as the American people.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why I asked earlier, how did they get so close? But maybe it's our own doing some type of testing or looking for something very specific, like you mentioned. Another thing, the cartel getting very creative about how they carry drugs and bring drugs over the border. Living along the border a lot of my life, I know a lot of the tunnels that have been found, how Border Patrol is watching with night goggles day in and day out. I know people who own farmland there on the border in Texas, and they can see during the Biden administration, not during the Trump administration, but during the Biden administration, these illegals coming in with night goggles on their property to get into America. But when it comes to the cartel, instead of, crossing the border, either on foot or by vehicle with these drugs, they started using drones to fly it in over the border and drop them down to drug dealers here in America. So that's another thing that the Border Patrol has to look out for, is because they're getting very creative about how they are getting drugs into America, and they're using drones.
Well, yeah. And, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I've spent years working south of the border combating narco-terrorism, human trafficking, and child sex trafficking south of the border. And then I spent several years on the border, and all at my own expense, right? I never got paid to do any of it, but this was my contribution to America. But, the Marine Corps at that time had reported that there were over 100 drones an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, bringing drugs, fentanyl, at least a kilo of drugs in every hour of every day. And so there's an ungodly amount of, very harsh chemicals, I guess you could say, here in America that has been brought over by the drones. And our counter drone technology, we need to shore that up. And I think this administration needs to fund the shoring up of this counter drone technology, because the Chinese, they subsidize their drone industry by the billions and billions and billions, and we don't over here. But I think with all this money that President Trump has saved the nation, and all this money that he's bringing in, I think he needs to shave off a couple, 2 or 3 billion, and invest that into all of the drone manufacturing companies here in America, so that we can again get back out on top and be the #1 fighting force in the world in that technology.
Tell us about your technology. Tell us about what you do.
Well, so I piloted submersible vehicles for over 20 years, and I got out of piloting subs and went from out of the water and into the sky. I just knew that the drone technology was going to be a great evolution in our livelihood, and I just happened to get it right. But our aircraft are rugged, they're reliable, and we sell to the DoD contractors. We sell around the world, and I also try to build infrastructure between African nations and the United States. I spent a lot of time over in Africa meeting with executive leadership, so that we take our technology here in America for granted. And so my goal, my mission was to bring these African nations, which is a bunch of amazing countries, give them the opportunity to have prosperity and growth, and we can all grow together. And so I tried to share this technology as long as legally allowed, so we can just all grow together. So all of my aircraft are designed to save lives and increase efficiency.
All right. Well, you do a great job. Tell us about your website, how people can learn more and get to know more about what you do.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. SaxonUnmanned.com. And then I have a TikTok as John.Ferguson88. So not a huge social media guy, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, you're a busy man. So we encourage everybody to go learn more and reach out to you. We hope that, if there are drones flying over us, John, there are our own men and women behind the wheel, making sure that it's not the... Yes, I would too, but I'm going to keep my hopes up and always remember we have the best military in the world. So if they're that close, surely our military knows all about it, even though we don't. John, good to have you on the show. Thanks for all you do, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, over at the Supreme Court building, this is what you're seeing right now. Live pictures as President Trump is heading there for the Supreme Court hearing. They will hear oral arguments, within the next 45 minutes regarding birthright citizenship. We are awaiting the president's arrival. Again, this is the first sitting president to attend oral arguments for the Supreme Court of the United States. Of course, the protesters are out there. There they are. You're looking at live pictures right now. Beautiful day in Washington, D.C. A huge day, huge decision on the way from the Supreme Court as we await their decision on birthright citizenship. We'll continue to bring you live pictures here on LINDELLTV as we wait for President Trump to arrive. Down the road, over on the National Mall, cleanup efforts continue as the president works to beautify Washington, D.C. The president posting Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, and I are working on fixing the absolutely filthy reflecting pool between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. This work was supposed to be done by the Biden administration, he says, but Sleepy Joe doesn't know what clean or proper maintenance is. The president and secretary do. Well, moments later, Burgum posted pictures showing discussions now underway to clean the reflecting pool. So another effort to beautify a huge tourist attraction there in Washington, D.C. When we come back, an update to misleading headlines regarding a bullet fragment in the Charlie Kirk case. His team on the Charlie Kirk Show, they weigh in with a gun expert. What they say about the inconclusive report, we'll let you listen in. That's coming up next.
Have you ever noticed how complicated it is to get your medication? When you're not feeling well or you're running low on something, it turns into a whole process. You call the doctor, your appointment's days away, you sit in the waiting room, then you stand in line at the pharmacy, and sometimes they don't even have it. That's the old system. It is slow, it's frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why I've been telling you about All Family Pharmacy. My family loves it, and I use them myself. You go online, you choose what you need, you fill out a short medical form, and one of their licensed doctors reviews your request. If it's appropriate, they write up the prescription, and it ships straight to your front door. This is how healthcare should work. If you believe in being prepared like I do, this is one of the smartest moves you can make. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use the code Lindell10 to save 10% today. For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
Is that apparently in 40% of cases involving high velocity rounds, they're unable to match a bullet to a weapon because of this fragmentation that happens. Apparently, it's very common. Almost half of the cases you can't match it because the bullet is so badly damaged.
Which I want to.
Statistics right there that everyone needs to listen to. It's common. We have a follow-up for you this morning to the Charlie Kirk case. Yesterday, we told you about misleading news headlines regarding a bullet fragment tested after an autopsy on Charlie. That bullet fragment came back inconclusive, meaning the testing couldn't determine whether that piece came from the gun used by Tyler Robinson, the suspected shooter. Well, news headlines quickly circulated, claiming the bullet didn't come from Robinson's gun. Not true. But what these news headlines were doing, they were making people think that Tyler Robinson wasn't the shooter. Well, on the Charlie Kirk show, they tried to calm rumors. Here's more of what they said.
The bullet is unable to be identified because it's you use more colorful language here. It's fragmented into a bunch of pieces. And when that happens, they don't do some magic CSI Las Vegas animation where they manage to reassemble the bullet and perfectly align the lands and grooves to match a barrel. None of that is real. That is not how science works. And then, it was interesting to watch the internet last night. This story hits, all the usual suspects take it and run it, and then a bunch of saner voices come in and say, This is not something new. We've known that the bullet fragmented. We knew that lining
we
it
knew
perfectly.
in the first days afterwards
Yeah,
that the
lining
bullet
it
had
perfectly up
fragmented.
to the rifle was going to be a challenge. But there's other ways that you could match in theory, right? And again, I respect that you're not trying to say this happened or that happened. You're just giving us the details. You're giving us the facts. There's other ways you could match a gun to a bullet, correct?
Yeah,
like
well,
if
as
the
an
casings
example,
match,
or they could test the metal and show this is the same metal as the rounds that were recovered with the rifle.
Sure.
Which, remember, we have a rifle with rounds that have political messages engraved on them.
and the casing that they have from this also has a message engraved on it, apparently, that matches.
Sure.
Yeah, Justin.
I mean, I guess I'll even walk that back a bit further. It's actually very difficult to match a bullet to a rifle. So, for example, 30-06 as a cartridge uses the same bullet that's used in .308 Winchester. So even if you recovered a .308 diameter bullet that was perfectly intact, if you didn't have the rifle that it was fired from to match the lands and grooves, there would be no way for you to determine that it was fired from a rifle chambered in .308 Winchester or 30-06. And so then when you start mangling up bullets that are roughly about the same size, a lot of medium to large caliber rifles use projectiles that are roughly the same length, roughly the same weight, roughly the same diameter. So if you smash those up into pieces, you may not even, if they didn't have a rifle to compare it to, there's no guarantee that they would even be able to know what the caliber of the cartridge was beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a very inexact science. And in this case, you know, Candace Owens, I hate to bring her up, but she mentioned on her podcast on September 25th that the bullet was fragmented into pieces. So this is something that, you know, the people on that side of the fence have known for a long time. And this is, they're just basically milking more views and more audience out of the same information we already had. It's basically like Schrodinger's bullet, right? If they had managed to recover a fully intact bullet where the lands and grooves matched perfectly, people on the other side would say, well, it's obvious that the bullet was planted because you're telling me that a bullet was fired through a human being and it was in perfect condition. There's no way that came out of Charlie Kirk. It must have been something that they fired in a test range, and this is what they're using to frame the shooter.
Right.
But in this case, because it's broken up into pieces, they can say, oh, well, see, we can't even identify the bullet. So it must not have been Tyler Robinson. It has to be somebody else. It's just, it's nonsense.
Justin, hang right there. We got another segment with you. But just to sum it up for the audience here, inconclusive or unable to identify is not the same as does not match. So
it's a reckless headline. They know what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's despicable.
Despicable. The fragment is one of thousands of pieces of evidence being used in the upcoming trial. Thousands, and they chose one to flip the headline. The defense is asking for more time to sift through it all. And as a note, it could be months before the trial actually begins. Well, next month, school will let out for the summer and kids will be glued to their phones and their TVs. We have some alternative options for screen time. It's all Christian-based ideas. We'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again, and two of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today. For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
We're continuing to wait for oral arguments to begin in Washington, D.C. at the Supreme Court of the United States. They will be hearing oral arguments on birthright citizenship in the next 27 minutes or so. The President of the United States will be attending, which will make this historic. The first time a sitting president has attended oral arguments at the Supreme Court. You're looking at live pictures as we await. People are starting to show up, crowds, supporters, protesters. It's a move that would make President Trump, again, the first sitting president. The hearing will focus on birthright citizenship, which is a highly debated issue. It has major constitutional implications tied to the 14th Amendment. And we're starting to see live pictures of the president's motorcade pulling up right now. We'll continue to sit on this as we wait. Now, while the president and presidents of the past have long influenced the court through nominations and policy, they have traditionally kept their distance from the courtroom itself. Again, making this moment not just historic, but potentially precedent-setting. This is a day that will go down in history, yet another one for President Trump. The White House has not yet said if the president will make public remarks or talk to the media after the hearing. So we'll wait around on that throughout the morning. But his presence alone, as you know, is expected to draw national attention. It already is, making news headlines as we await. We are watching this live closely as it unfolds, both for the legal arguments inside the courtroom, which will be private. It's not open to the public, and it's not televised live. Media is not allowed inside. There will be political implications outside. Of course, there already is, with supporters and protesters there alike. And you see the motorcade, like we just saw, on its way to the Supreme Court of the United States. Stay here with LINDELLTV throughout the day, online as well, the LINDELLTV app, on all of our social media pages, as we await the final outcome of this hearing. As you know, President Trump does not believe if an illegal alien comes to the United States of America and has a child, that child should be a citizen of the United States. He says that part of the Constitution was meant for slavery, not for situations like this. And so therefore, he's huge on making sure that we have that removed from the law. And so birthright citizenship on the table this morning. Huge day in Washington, D.C. Huge day for America and what the future holds for this country. Let's talk about the MAHA movement now. Is moving into hospitals. Secretary Robert F. Kennedy making the announcement. We talk about food, the food we eat. It's so important. We talk about that almost daily to everyday life and also longevity for good health. But what about the people who are sick? Real food, Kennedy says, could be the best medicine. Listen.
We have the best medical technology in the world. We have the best doctors. We have the finest hospitals in the world. But for some reason, for many years, they haven't recognized the most important tool of medicine today is good food. And we have a metabolic disease crisis now in this country that's costing us trillions of dollars a year. When my uncle was president, we spent zero on chronic disease. We now spend $4.3 trillion. The cost of treating chronic disease is rising at 2.5% per year, faster than the GDP. When I was a kid, the average pediatrician would see one case of juvenile diabetes over a 40 or 50-year career. Today, 38% of teens are diabetic or pre-diabetic. So 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door. And this is not because Americans suddenly became indolent or greedy or hungry, or it's because we're mass poisoning them. And we're mass poisoning them with ultra-processed foods, with highly refined carbohydrates, with addictive chemicals, including sugar and sodium, and are put in our food to hijack our brains and make us insatiable. And we're giving that to people in hospitals, and there are study after study after study that shows when you give people good food, they recover faster. There's less readmissions. We're giving them food that is aggravating inflammation, that is destroying their metabolic systems, that is badly disrupting their microbiomes and impeding their capacity to heal. And that should not be true in hospitals. We should be giving them real food and good food.
Unbelievable. Hospitals will roll out a new menu, ditching sugary foods and adding more whole grains. I want to take you back live to Washington, D.C. You're looking at live pictures right now as the presidential motorcade starts making its way to the Supreme Court of the United States. A historic day, as we've been talking about, at the center of the hearing this morning in about 20 minutes. Birthright citizenship. It's a constitutional issue rooted in the 14th Amendment, which guarantees citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. That's according to the Constitution. President Trump says that was made for slaves and slavery, not meant for people coming into the country illegally, crossing our borders, having a child, and ensuring that that child remains here in America as a citizen. We saw that a lot with open borders, people bringing over their pregnant family members, having a child here illegally, and then wanting to claim that the child was a natural citizen of the United States of America. So this is a huge issue on the case on the docket today at the Supreme Court. The case could have far-reaching implications, potentially redefining how that clause in the 14th Amendment is interpreted, particularly as it relates to children born to non-citizens on U.S. soil. Now, legal experts, they weighed in on this as well. They say the court is being asked to weigh in on long-standing precedent against modern immigration challenges, making, again, this one of the most closely watched constitutional debates in years. Every issue they take up at the Supreme Court is important, but this one could redefine how our Constitution is interpreted when it comes to birthright citizenship. Again, presidents have traditionally respected a clear boundary between the executive branch and the judiciary branch, rarely, if ever, attending court proceedings themselves. President Trump alerting the news media yesterday when he signed the executive order on mail-in voting and mail-in ballots. He told Fox News reporter Peter Doocy there in the Oval Office, "I will be attending." It kind of stunned Peter Doocy. He says, "You'll be attending tomorrow?" It's unheard of. We've never heard of a president going to oral arguments at the Supreme Court of the United States. President Trump says he will be there. His schedule came out last night, and sure enough, he is on his way to be there to the Supreme Court. We've seen the motorcade. We've seen the security lining the routes. Crowds of people gathered outside, protesters, supporters. Supporters argue it underscores the importance of the issue and shows leadership at a critical moment. And of course, this is a critical moment when you have border security topping news headlines every single day, a wide open border, millions upon millions of illegal immigrants pouring into our country under the Biden administration. ICE agents now doing their job and removing the most dangerous criminals first. President Trump and his administration have been adamant about letting the public know we're going after the most wanted criminals in the world that are here in our country. That's what ICE agents are doing. The left is protesting ICE agents. And now we have birthright citizenship on the docket today at the Supreme Court. These millions of people who fled our country here illegally and are having kids, does that make them a United States citizen when we're trying to remove all of these people and have them come into the country the right way, come in and be legal, law-abiding citizens? That's what the argument is. It's how our Constitution, the 14th Amendment, will be interpreted from here on out. So we'll continue to watch that as the president arrives and bring you more live pictures throughout the morning. But first, while we wait for the president to arrive, we have a note for parents today. It's time to talk about TV, computers, what your child is watching online. Brent Dusing, CEO of TRUPLAY, is with us today with an alternative option for your kids as we start winding down the school year, starting to think about summer a little bit. Brent, good morning to you. Thanks for being here. You know, I was actually looking at your website last night. I have a young child and was actually looking at your videos, watching your videos. I love it because it's always good to have a good Christian alternative for our children to watch. So first, talk about your website and what kind of videos you have to offer.
Thanks, Vanessa. Good to be with you. So TRUPLAY is an app. You download it on your phone, on your iPad, or your Google devices, and it's filled with, as you can see right here, great content, video games, videos, digital comics. Everything we do is built with incredibly high quality and fun, but it's also built with the Word of God. So every game that we make, every story that we tell contains God's truth. You see a character right there who's a little girl. She's a bunny rabbit, and she very strongly believes in God. She teams up with a fox who's wearing a bear costume. They wind up in this forest where they learn that the forest is getting darker because the Bibles have started to be stolen out of their society. And so they go on this grand adventure, and they learn about their own journeys with faith and also about the importance of God's word and courage. And it's a message that kids need today. You know, there's a lot of toxic things happening for children today. And what TRUPLAY is about is bringing God's truth and hope and encouragement to children all over the world.
God bless you for doing this because you're absolutely right. You know, you have all of these apps out there. You have TikTok. I talk about TikTok all the time. And if you watch me every day, you know I'm not a fan of the young ones on TikTok because I feel like these kids know dances and they see all these sometimes vulgar activity coming from celebrities and musicians. And so parents really need to watch what their kids are looking at on their phones. I feel like, Brent, that people are giving their kids phones at younger and younger ages. I see small kids walking around with tablets and phones. And so we need to make sure that, one, we're watching what they're watching.
Yeah.
And two, they're going to alternatives like this, because you're right. There's so much filth, unfortunately, in this world. We need to give them that alternative: Christian videos, stories, faith-based games for them to learn and grow in a positive Christian environment.
Well, Vanessa, you're absolutely right, especially about TikTok. RFK Jr., you just showed a clip of him a couple minutes ago. He was talking about food poisoning people. Our children are being poisoned by a lot of the content on their screens. TikTok's one of the biggest, culprits, which, you very well enumerated. The issues are that, I don't know if you may be aware, TikTok won't even allow us to advertise. So TikTok has banned TruPlay from advertising, as well as from posting anything on their platform at all, because they say we're trying to promote our own religious ideology. However, they let Satanic Games, Roblox has an ad with a pentagram drawn in blood. They've let them advertise. They let a game called Diablo, which is literally the main character is Satan. They let them advertise. They let transgender content for children advertise, which is kind of a religion, if you're being honest. They let all those people advertise toxic, poisonous things for children, but they won't allow a company that's promoting positive values to families. And frankly, the values our country was built on, right? In America, promoting that to small children, encouraging families, giving children a fun, safe place to play, away from predators, away from ads, away from all the toxicity that goes on platforms like Roblox. But yet TikTok and Google won't allow us to advertise. And so we're working with the ACLJ, who I'm sure many of you know well, and quite a few other leaders. Eric Metaxas has covered this, as well as quite a few other people Riley Gaines, who've gotten behind us in this movement. And so there's really a movement afoot to make a real change.
Isn't that gross that you just talked about on YouTube and other sites as well? They allow all of this negativity to brainwash our children, but when you try to bring positivity, they block you. And we've seen that a lot in the past. I believe it's gotten a little better from the news standpoint, because I'm in the news and I've been, striked before for putting, natural remedies to cancer on my YouTube and websites, and they've taken it down. But all of the bad is allowed to stay up. And so that's why I love having you on today, because we need to get the word out. There are so many good alternatives. We just have to go around those big websites and find them.
Absolutely. There are positive alternatives. As Christians, we have to not only be aware of what's negative, but also obviously build for the positive. We don't live in a world anymore where you can expect your child to play outside for 8 hours a day and chew tree bark or watch Andy Griffith reruns. There's some level at which we've got to deliver positive, fun, uplifting content that kids are really going to enjoy. There are more dangers right now for children than there ever have been because of the easy access to things like you mentioned, TikTok, a lot of the things that are on YouTube, a lot of the awful things that happen on Roblox, which has been well documented, a lot of kind of child predatory things. So we felt at TruPlay, myself, my colleagues, our investors, our coworkers, our partners, let's build something that's really world-class. And we found parents and children really enjoying it and loving it and being able to take away values that children can carry with them, really, hopefully, throughout the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about some of your videos. We have a couple of minutes left, so I want to go through.
Sure.
Again, I was watching this last night. I have a little 4-year-old, so this is perfect for his age group. Walk us through some of the videos that you have to offer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take you through some of the games. So one of our most popular games is called King David's Battles. And you start out as David, and you're a shepherd, and you start to use your slingshot, and then you you fight some different animals. Eventually you fight a bear, and then you as you grow and develop, you eventually wind up fighting Goliath. And so it's a fun adventure game. It's a little bit of a combat game. There is combat, and there's battles in the Bible, right? It's not hyper violent or anything like that, but it's fun. And the story is also, of course, David's story from the Bible, but it's also, the theme is a boy becomes a man. Another one of our games is called Maple in the Forest of Words. You showed that a couple minutes ago. Maple is a little bunny rabbit. She's a little girl. You can see a little bit right behind me, right here, a little bit of her design. She very much believes in God, and she's very courageous. Now she doesn't always care about other people's opinions. She's very headstrong and charges ahead. She winds up in a dark forest and rescues Oliver, who's a fox in a bear costume. And as they go into the forest, they find the forest is getting darker, and there's monsters, and there's problems happening in the forest because they find this evil queen has taken the Bibles out of their society. And so there's a lot of different issues that are happening because God's truth has been taken out of their world. So it's a fun adventure game. Another game we have is Oliver's own game called Oliver and the Vindictive Vines, which is a running game that you run through the forest and you try to avoid obstacles and slide through, and you pick up little clues about Oliver's backstory. There's another one of our games called Lucas and Mission Starhope. So in Lucas's game, Lucas is a little bit autistic. He's a very brilliant inventor, and he actually doesn't know much about who God is. His brother died a year ago, and he doesn't understand it. His mom says, well, he's up there with God. And he thinks, oh, well, then I'll just fly in a spaceship and go bring him back. No. That's not how it works. That's not what I meant. But he doesn't understand that, so he takes off into space. His best friend, Noah, who is a strong Christian, who's a kangaroo in a shark outfit, decides to try to bring him back and try to talk to him about what he's going through in a positive way. Now, as they go out, there's spaceship battles, and there's bad guys, and there's a big plot that unfolds with action and adventure. But so what we've done in TRUPLAY is build characters who deal with things that kids are dealing with today. Some of our characters are very strong Christians. Others are on a journey of faith, like many people are. But the bottom line is that God's word, the Bible is talked about throughout. The kids pray, but there's also a lot of fun that they have. There's monsters and sword fights and spaceships and a lot of different exciting things that happen inside the universe of TRUPLAY. So if you're listening as a parent, there's a lot of games inside there that hopefully you and your children will enjoy. We have a lot of parents and moms say they enjoy playing the games too. There's a word game. There's a puzzle game where you match glass pieces and form a stained glass window where the glass pieces come to life and tell you a story from the Bible. So there's a lot of things that I think there's probably a game in there for everybody.
I love it. And it allows kids to not only get their Christianity, they're learning with the Lord, they also get to use their imagination. So you can go to TRUPLAY in the App Store. It's TRUPLAY. TRUPLAY, faith-based games for kids. Brent, I'm so glad you're doing this for our children. Thanks for doing that and having an alternative, a good Christian alternative for them to watch on their phones and their iPads and tablets and all of the good things. TRUPLAY, go to your app store, download it today. It's great for all of the kids of all ages. Even the adults love it. Brent, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy it. God bless you.
Thank you. All right, back to live pictures now from Washington, D.C. as history unfolds right before our eyes. An extraordinary moment at the nation's highest court. It is 9:53 in Washington, D.C., and at 10 o'clock this morning, the Supreme Court of the United States will hear oral arguments on birthright citizenship. President Trump will be there in attendance. A move that would place him in the courtroom during active proceedings. That's something no sitting president is known to have done in modern history. Again, this is one of the most consequential constitutional questions. This is tied to the 14th Amendment, which has long been interpreted to grant automatic citizenship to nearly anyone born on the U.S. soil. That's automatic. This hearing could test that interpretation. At issue today is whether the Constitution's language, specifically the phrase, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, should continue to apply broadly or be more narrowly defined in cases involving children born to non-citizens, including those in the country illegally or on temporary status. We haven't talked a lot about that. Also, those here on temporary status. Are those born here to these people, should they be considered legal U.S. citizens? Legal scholars say the outcome could reshape decades of precedent, potentially opening the door to major changes in U.S. immigration, policy, citizenship law, This is a huge day, and you are watching history unfold right before your eyes. You can see protesters right there with signs that say Trump must go. But on the other side, there's a lot of supporters as well. It's important to note presidents have historically kept a deliberate distance from Supreme Court proceedings, even in cases directly tied to their own policies or administrations, but not today. President Trump is arriving there at the Supreme Court of the United States. In just about 5 minutes, those hearings will begin. We've seen the motorcade on its way. Streets are blocked off with security as we await this hearing. A ruling in the case could impact, again, future generations' birthright citizenship on the agenda. Stay with LINDELLTV on air, online, LINDELLTV.com, on the app, LINDELLTV app, and also all of our social media pages will be bringing you coverage and any update throughout the day. I'm Vanessa Broussard, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good day, America.
Have you ever noticed how complicated it is to get your medication? When you're not feeling well or you're running low on something, it turns into a whole process. You call the doctor, your appointment's days away, you sit in the waiting room, then you stand in line at the pharmacy, and sometimes they don't even have it. That's the old system. It is slow, it's frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why I've been telling you about All Family Pharmacy. My family loves it, and I use them myself. You go online, you choose what you need, you fill out a short medical form, and one of their licensed doctors reviews your request. If it's appropriate, they write up the prescription, and it ships straight to your front door. This is how healthcare should work. If you believe in being prepared like I do, this is one of the smartest moves you can make. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use the code Lindell10 to save 10% today. For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again, and two of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits.